Pokemon! It's the third Pokemon episode.
Of course it is.
Yes,
that's all Andy ever talks about.
That's all we talk about. Well, no, there's a reason for it.
Yes,
so,
there is this time.
But before we get into that, welcome back to the PTGPowercast.
Welcome back, where you're listening with power.
Oh, how's going on with you guys?
Surviving.
Yeah, going good.
Yeah,
going good.
right?
Yeah, yep.
So this one's kind of what I like to call a PTG quickie, as mine often are.
Well, if we're going based off yours, it'd be done in about 5 minutes.
Oh, yeah.
Enough said.
Now you're listening with power. That's it. All right, we got this up on YouTube. Man, fucking no. So obviously we were hyping it up for months anyway,
Because they were looking for all these spoilers, anything that they could find on Pokemon
That
Sword
wasn't a
and
day
Shield.
thing. That was a me
that was
thing.
Kevin.
I
I am a non-spoiler type person.
You were still trying
No.
to find... Oh, well, you were
only
still
thing-
looking up stuff that was official leaks and stuff.
Yes, or just official.
You
in
weren't
general.
trying to find, spoilers and stuff like that, but whatever was released.
That's never me.
Okay.
But, so Pokemon Sword and Shield finally came out worldwide.
November
What
15th.
a phenomenon. November 15th. It's been a couple weeks since it's been out.
It only came out November 15th, huh? It's that recent.
Only been a couple weeks.
It's only been 2 weeks.
So
Okay.
Kevin and I both beat it already. Love the game. I think I put 40 hours. No, I did not complete the Pokedex.
I haven't even hit 30, I think,
No,
30 on your Pokedex?
hours.
Oh, 30 hours.
But-
Oh, I'm over 150 on my Pokedex.
Oh, gotcha.
Me too. I think I'm at 150, 160.
So how many Pokemon are in this iteration?
400, I think.
450.
Oh my gosh.
But it's
It's a blending of a whole bunch of different generations.
yes.
okay.
Not there's there were 450 new Pokemon.
That
No.
was awesome,
But
but-
do you just like the original games? I don't know if they still do this because it's been a while since I played a new generation Pokemon game. But do they encourage trading amongst Sword and Shield in order
There
to
are
get all
there are still
450?
version exclusives.
Oh, okay.
And this one
Okay.
went further. There were gym exclusives.
Yes.
In my version, I fought a fighting and was it ground?
Yes, and
And
I
then
had an ice and a ghost
Dark.
gym.
Yeah.
Oh,
ghost.
okay.
So I didn't fight those trainers at all in my version.
And my
okay.
Elite Four was different because one of those exclusive gyms was included in the Elite Four. We'll get into that because
that's cool.
it's kind of a
one of my complaints.
topic of discussion. Yeah, it was weird, but I kind of liked it.
I
But
was gonna say it sounds unique. It's something that they
It
haven't
was.
really done before.
That's I'll give it its credit for that.
That is what my biggest gripe has been with Pokemon is that as much as Pokemon is still a force to be reckoned with. I think it still sells like
one of the
gangbusters.
biggest IPs in the world.
It really is. But I feel like every new generation that they come out with, it's all literally just the same. It's the same game, just kind of put.
Right.
It's a different skin on the game. And so, granted, I love the story of X and Y, where they kind of dived into the whole Pokemon War and how everything was just really bleak and just...
I still want that game.
What game?
A game based
Oh, like
off
the Pokemon Wars?
Actually, in
Yeah.
the Pokemon Wars, fighting next to Surge and his
Next
right
to Surge and his Raichu, which saved them during the
don't do
war.
that, because it's gonna
I
be.
want Call of Duty Pokemon. Go to hell.
It's gonna be Kingdom Hearts. But it's gonna
Raichu,
be
Kingdom
Kingdom Hearts
Hearts.
Pokemon.
What's going to happen is it's going to be a first-person shooter. I'm going to find another trainer. We're going to meet eyes. We have to stop. There'll be an exclamation mark and throw Pokeballs, and then we just wait while our Pokemon battle.
And it's going to be Metapod and Magikarp.
Splash!
Magikarp was in it. But, so, as I said, I've sunk a lot of time into it. Kevin has, my younger brother has as well. Even my older brother, who hasn't played a Pokemon game since the original Blue and Red, started playing this. And he loved it.
No, because didn't he played Black and White, didn't he? No. He hasn't done a game since Red and Blue?
My older brother missed the boat because he was a little older when Pokemon first arrived on the scene.
He's what, 2
But it's
years
funny.
older?
So I don't feel like I'm as behind then.
This is a fun fact. So when my brother went to college for that short time, he took graphic design. So one of his things is he had to design a product. One of the products he designed was
Pokemon.
two Pokemon games, Pokemon Black,
and
Pokemon White. It was crazy.
Yeah.
So it was, how weird was it?
Well, technically, depending on when he did that, if he wanted to, he could technically sue.
Well,
Can't.
Why
Because
can't
he used their intellectual property
Yeah.
to...
Oh, that's true. Oh, yeah.
and
No,
his flagship Pokemon on the thing was like Haunter, and I don't remember what the one was for White, but it was a cool idea.
Oh,
It was funny how many years later after he had done it, because I remember seeing he took like the Sega Genesis clamshells, he took like the inserts out and put them in the thing to make like a box. It was really fucking cool. But then I saw Black and White come out how many years later?
Yeah, that's funny.
Yeah.
That's really funny.
But Yeah, so we'll talk a little bit about Pokemon Sword and Shield and what we absolutely adored about it. So, I have to say, right off the bat, when I started it, loved the aesthetic of the game. The aesthetic is the game is gorgeous.
Yeah,
it's truly
in
gorgeous.
both handheld and on TV.
Yeah.
It's funny because people have been saying so I obviously I haven't played the game yet. I do plan on playing it, but I haven't played the game yet.
Yeah.
And I've been hearing about like people's issues with the game. One of the issues that they've had with it is they say that the graphics aren't as good as they should be.
Well,
and I'm like,
I don't
and
know
I've been,
what they're talking about.
And I've been hearing the complete opposite. Everybody who sees it is saying like it's absolutely gorgeous.
The biggest thing is a lot of people were hoping, and stupidly, because this is Nintendo after all, that they were going to go for some like cutting edge style graphics. Nintendo doesn't do that.
No,
they do style. They do style before like photorealism.
It's stylized for that universe. Why would you try to make it look better than it is?
Yeah.
Like, it kind of defeats the purpose.
Why would you want a Metapod that looks like real when it just looks like it'll look like something out of a nightmare?
Well, I'm gonna say, have you ever seen those like artist renditions of like the real versions of Pokemon?
Yeah, no, they're absolutely terrifying. They're terrifying.
Well, I mean, look at Detective Pikachu.
Yep.
Was a good example of how terrifying some Pokemon really look if they were real.
If they were
Mr.
real,
Mime or Lickitung.
No, Mr. Mime was funny.
Yeah, but
Lickitung was, yes.
Oh my
definitely.
god, he's a hideous nightmare scheme. But so I love the game. I love the swooping camera and everything was gorgeous.
To be honest, I think this is my favorite region though.
Absolutely, this region was phenomenal. I loved Galar. It was such a beautiful,
especially after being in Hawaii for the last one.
See, I wasn't a fan of the islands in Sun and Moon, but it was.
I'm still classic, man. I loved Kanto.
I know you
like Japan.
I loved Kanto.
But it was it was weird getting used to the fact that people talk like they are English. So there were things they would say where I'm just like, what the fuck are they talking about?
Yeah, they say mum.
That's right. It's supposed to be like England, so it makes sense. What they like some of the things they would say where you're just like, that's not a sentence. Wait, yes, that is. It was a little confusing.
I was actually
spot of teas and crumpets.
There's a Pokemon. There's a ghost Pokemon that's a teacup.
Oh, really?
It evolves into a teapot. Tea.
It was cool.
Actually, to be honest, I was waiting for you at some point to be like, okay, this person just said this. What the hell does this mean?
No, I figured it out pretty quick. I'm not that stupid.
Yeah, that remains to be seen.
Oh, fuck yourself.
Well, I just because like some like UK slang is very, very different from ours.
Yeah.
So like I was just kind of waiting for that message from you to be like, he said this. The sentence doesn't make sense any way I look at it. So,
so it did take a little bit of a learning curve on that to realize that.
Not for me.
It was good. Like I love the environment, the wildlands. Oh my god, that was probably the biggest the biggest draw to this game was the wilds.
Yeah. That to me that it was simultaneously one of my favorite parts and one of the parts I hated the most.
The wilds, yeah.
So I loved them because it gave you much more free range. It actually felt like you were in the world because you got free movement to go in this big area and go and do stuff.
So especially for my benefit, and just in case there are people listening who don't know, but what are the wilds?
So it's essentially a vast open area with just dozens upon dozens of Pokemon just wandering around.
And this is where you can actually literally see them wandering around too.
You can see them all the time.
So yeah, so if you don't want to like encounter a random battle against something, you can literally just avoid that Pokemon in the wild.
Some will actually come up to you, like you can whistle at them to get their attention. Stuffle will come up to you and he'll just start playing or whatever.
Oh, that's cool.
And then there are some, like any of the fighting types, they will hunt you down.
They chase you. They sprint at you.
There's nothing more terrifying than Tyrogues and Machokes just come charging out of the grass at you.
Which is funny because that's straight out of the original cartoon where Primeape was like, when you locked eyes, like, no, he was chasing you down until he pummeled the crap out of you.
Yeah, so like that was kind of cool. Like I had a Lucario came out of fucking nowhere and just blitzed me. I was like, oh fuck. But it was cool because the wilds have all of the levels are variable. So it's like there are certain Pokemon are within catchable distance of your level. Some are like usually the evolved forms will be like 10 to 12 levels higher.
Oh, okay.
But see, and then this is where the wilds went wrong for me. After you've gotten they start scaling with your level.
Yes. No. They don't.
I've gone back to the beginning area now, and I can fight level 60 basic Pokemon.
Yes. After you capture Eternatus, the big bad guy of this one.
Okay.
All of the Pokemon in the Wildlands are level 60.
And that sucks.
I agree.
Because
that I don't agree with.
there are some Pokemon where if they evolve, especially if they evolve multiple times, if you don't evolve them when they can, you actually lose stat growth, unless if they fix that.
No, I don't think they
So
do.
that
Wait,
means-
if you don't evolve them when they're
So
supposed
basically,
to evolve?
like, if you take Geodude and
That's always been a thing, though.
Right.
so
And
you
it's
like
still-
Geodude to Graveler.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you choose to skip that and don't evolve him until like level 60,
Oh, it's gonna hurt.
He loses a lot of stats. Well, this sucks because now I go into the wilds, I go catch a basic low level Pokemon. Well, he's level 60. How much stat progression have I lost out on now?
But you can
I guess
honestly,
in that sense, yeah.
The breeding is so easy. Like an egg literally takes you 30 seconds to hatch. Mm-hmm. So really walking and hatching it. So you could just put that Geodude, that level 60 Geodude in and hatch him from an egg and you're good.
So
and especially with the way they did the raids where you get experience chunks. So like the rare candies automatically level you up.
Yeah.
So at the end of raids you get like they're just candy chunks where it grants you experience.
Oh,
There's
okay.
extra small, small, large,
Medium, large, and I think an extra large. So I mean, honestly, leveling up a Pokemon.
Not to mention that everyone you have experience share all at the same time. But like, I just thought the wilds should have, as it was progressing, should have been like how do I say it? Like basically like small dividers. So okay, in this region, it's like below this line,
They're 20.
Pokemon range from level 2 to 20. The
Yeah, they
next
do.
line up, well, it's 30 to 40. No, but I mean it should have stayed that way even after you've gotten past a certain point in the story.
But you know what though? I do
Because experience is easy enough to get in this game where it does not matter. They should, and then it also the big reason it's dumb is it makes certain Pokeballs useless.
Yeah.
The level ball is no longer a viable option.
I do agree I agree with how they did that because and granted I'm thinking in terms of like original generations, but there comes a point and I'm gonna use blue and red as the example here, but there comes a point when you're playing where it doesn't matter. You're just gonna stop buying Pokeballs anyways. You're gonna go for the Great Balls. You're gonna buy the Ultra Balls.
Yeah.
You don't just you just kind of throw those away. So so I don't mind that it makes certain Pokeballs useless because halfway through the game you're not gonna go into
It's not so much the generic Pokeball that it's the special like level balls.
Oh.
No, those come in handy.
But like if I'm level ball, the entire point of it is to be able to go back to an earlier area and catch a low level Pokemon much simpler without having to fight it. Well, if I'm fighting I'm level 60 and fighting level 60 Pokemon, well, that Pokeball is literally useless.
Yeah, but you're not gonna
It has lower odds than the basic
You're not
Pokeball.
You're not gonna go into the unknown dungeon with a bunch of just regular Pokeballs.
No.
I mean, honestly. And and one of the big things that I have often had an issue with before is that
I think I know where this is going.
yeah, when you beat the game and you want to try a different team, then you are trying to get your Pokemon levels up. Well, if you're starting to again run into like level 10 Pidgeys and 15 Pidgeys, it takes forever. Now if you're going against Pokemon that are level 60 and above at that point, you can take low level Pokemon and share that experience to get them bigger, stronger, faster.
You would still be able to do that if they tiered off the way the wilds worked.
Well, that would only make sense if
because then I could still take a level 60 Pokemon and then have a couple low-level Pokemon and stay in the 60 area and have my level 60 fight until the low-level ones leveled up a bunch. Because one fight would level them up because they all experience share is always active now.
So even if they don't fight, they still get the experience.
It's scaled experience.
Oh.
So it's not a flat. Everybody gets this. It's
And the
based
lower level you are, the more you get.
Right. So if there's 5,000 experience coming in, somebody who's level 60 will get 100. Someone who's level 40 will get 500. Like, it scales based on how high they are. If they didn't participate.
Oh, okay.
If they did participate, they get a bigger chunk. But
gotcha.
It's more it's tiered based on how low your level is.
Mm-hmm. And then now, plus with like the experience candies and rare candies,
They got
leveling isn't an issue like it was before, but it's still
they eliminated the grind.
That's awesome.
To me, it's still just like, okay, yeah, I don't use the breeder, so I mean, I guess I'm losing out on that, but like, losing out on all of the stat progression or like the what is it? Was it IV or EV training?
Right.
That so my Pokemon will get the extra boosted stats for. Well, I can't do that anymore.
Well, if you were EV training, you'd hatch it from an egg anyway.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
There is nobody who EV trains that just catches a wild Pokemon and calls, well, you're an idiot.
And the stat progression. I mean, that was a constant from the first one, where it was basically the trade-off is, did you want to learn a move that like a third evolution would learn earlier,
and
or do you want to?
They also fixed that. So now, after you've evolved, the move the move tutor is free.
Yeah,
he's in every Pokemon.
You can recall any move, even ones you missed from previous evolutions, through that move tutor.
So, and he's free. He's in every Pokemon Center.
Oh, so that's not even a thing anymore.
Nope.
Then. Wow.
So that's not an issue anymore. So like, it's pretty good. Choosing not to evolve is stupid at this point.
I honestly,
unless you prefer a previous version.
Honestly, I always thought that not choosing to evolve was stupid to begin with.
It never made sense.
Because you had a Pokemon like, let's say, Ninetales, Vulpix. So Vulpix, if you got it up to like level 52 or something like that, it could learn Flamethrower. But if you didn't evolve, or if you evolved it into Ninetales,
he stopped learning.
He stopped learning it.
Same with Arcanine. He learned extreme speed in like the 40s.
But by the
why
point,
would you have a Growlithe in the 40s?
Yeah, but by the point that you have Vulpix at level 52 to have Flamethrower, it's like you could turn it into a Ninetales, but now it's not even going to have the strength to even maximize the.
The other way, like the newer generations have also fixed that, is TMs are infinitely reusable.
Oh, that's
sort
interesting. That's interesting.
The weaker TMs are infinite use.
Yeah.
There is something, they kind of brought back the old TM system. They call them technical records.
Oh, okay.
So it's like your Psychics, your Brick Breaks, your Blizzards are one-use TMs.
Which makes sense because they were already overpowered to begin with.
But it's easy to get the money, the monetary system for them. Mm-hmm. So I'm sitting around with like 25,000 watts at the moment, and I'm not using them. And I can just go to any of the guys that buy the stuff, and I can buy them. So,
and it's luck of the draw too, because you get technical records after doing raids. If you fought Pikachu in a raid, you would get get electric TRs.
Interesting.
So it was an interesting system that they did, but no, I think what their intent was for level 60ing all of the wild Pokemon, and I know both of you will suffer from this. How frustrating was it to try and catch a level 20 Pokemon when you're level 60?
Oh yeah,
it's impossible.
It was.
It's impossible.
But I also used moves like False Swipe, so I can't knock them out.
I am not wasting a space in my move slots to use False Swipe. It does not make sense.
That was always the tough thing, is that I think I ran into it in Pokemon Ruby, actually, because I had basically, Blaziken was like my beast. He was like level 70, level 80, whatever. And then when I got, was it Kyogre? Was he in Ruby? Or was it
Groudon?
Groudon. And then it was tough enough to actually catch Groudon because he was level, I think, 30.
40, I think. I think they were in that one. They weren't 50.
I
think they were 40.
I want to say it was 30.
I don't remember.
30 seems low.
But either way, it was almost next to impossible to catch him.
And he was resistant to your attacks.
And he was resistant to it.
Yeah.
And then it was either... and then from that point, because then I used Groudon to try to like catch other Pokemon, because I had already beaten the game, and I was like, okay, now I want to try to catch Pokemon. And... either it was Blaziken, who would just literally knock out anybody,
just by looking at him,
or it was Groudon, who literally was dying halfway through trying to do that, to get a Pokemon down so that I could actually throw a Pokeball at it. And yes, it did get very frustrating. So yes, I
think that's what the intention was for the level 60.
But yeah, I understand it. But at the same time, the way this system is now set up with the experience, the way experience is easy to get. It's easy to have your two different teams. Your team for fighting the gyms and stuff, and then a team to catch Pokemon.
I suppose so.
It's not, and now because the boxes are accessible from literally anywhere, but just by going into your menu, you no longer have to go to a PC to swap out Pokemon.
Oh, that's cool.
You get a portable box, so you can literally just, you open up your menu, you go into your Pokemon, you hit R, and you can swap Pokemon on the fly.
It was essentially
anywhere.
what they pulled from Let's Go.
I was gonna say, I'm not gonna lie, that's awesome because it was so frustrating to have to go back to a Pokemon Center and then go into, like, you literally had like 15 boxes and you had to pick the right box.
Or your box is full.
Or your box is full, yeah.
Yeah, I honestly I've filled 4 or 5 of them so far.
Yeah, me too.
And
that's
like
where I was at.
15 or 20 per
you
box.
You start with 8, and then once you beat the game, they upgrade it to 15 or 16.
Does it actually?
You can fit what, 15 or 20 per box?
More than that.
Well, actually, now, it's got to be a lot more than that because now that there's 450 some on.
It's 40 or 50. It's quite a bit. There's a lot in. No, it's maybe not 50. I'm thinking it's like 20, 25.
I think it's 25 per box or something now. It's 5 by 5, I think.
But if it's 25, there's 8. That would be 200. So 16 boxes would be 400. You wouldn't be able to catch all of them, though.
But you gotta remember some evolve.
So as soon as they evolve,
that's right. There's not technically 454 different Pokemon.
Well, they are different.
Well, they're different, but they evolve. So it's technically there's only like 362 or something like that.
Something weird, yeah.
Because of the evolutions, right?
But that's the wilds. I thought it was breathtaking the first time I entered the wilds. I spent literally
I didn't get lost into it as much as you did.
I spent 2 hours in the wilds the first time I arrived in one, just catching shit and fighting stuff and running from things. I'm getting so excited. So, and what made it interesting was the fact that there were higher level Pokemon that you could fight even on accident. So, like, you'll go in one area.
The first time you go in there, right as soon as you walk out the gate,
there's a level 25 Onix.
Onix is right in your face.
Just sitting there. Your Pokemon are like level 8, 10 at best, and then there's a 25 Onix there. So it was cool. And then, like, you walk around, there's Golurks and Golets and Drifloons and just big shit that you see. Gyarados swimming in the lake.
That was also part of the new system that, like, I understand it, but it was a little weird, was you can no longer, like, your badges dictated what level of Pokemon you could catch.
You can't catch literally anything until you've gotten all 8.
Until you've gotten all 8 what?
All 8 badges.
So
you can't catch anything?
You cannot catch everything.
Oh, so everything. Like every badge, like the first badge you get allows you to catch up to like level 25 Pokemon. The next one's up to like 30, and then it's like 40, 45, and then all of them.
So it was basically their way of keeping somebody from just grinding out to then catch a Golurk at level 45 and just walking through the game.
Yeah.
And
which was a good idea.
I enjoyed that, but at the same time, it was annoying because I would see a Pokemon I want, and I'm like, oh my god.
1 level away.
Awesome. And then, they're like 1 level, 2 levels above me, and I'm like,
damn it.
I can't catch you.
Lucario. He hunted me out of some bushes, and because he's still fighting, I had a Pokemon that whooped his ass, but he was 1 level away from my cap.
Do they?
God damn it!
Do they still do that thing? Although I never seem to have, like, it never made a difference. Where they say that, like, okay, if you have like the second badge, like Pokemon up to level 50 will obey you.
That was only through trading.
That only applied to Pokemon that were traded.
You traded. Oh, okay, gotcha. Because I was
for some reason it was supposed to apply to all Pokemon, from the way I understand it. But there was some mistake or something.
The game would
in
be
it.
Impossible.
There was some mistake in it or something or other that Pokemon... So it was supposed to be a way of stopping you from over-leveling or something, but it never applied to Pokemon you raised.
Yeah, because I remember going through Pokemon and, like, the first one, and I was like, you know what? I wonder how far I can get in the game without actually, like, doing gym battles and stuff. And I only did, like, I think 2 or 3 battles before, like, gym battles, before I had actually gotten, like... I went all around, like, where I could go. And my starting Pokemon was like level 60, and I'm like, he shouldn't technically be like obeying me, but I never had any issues with it. So.
Yeah, starters are always an exemption.
Oh, okay.
Well, they all are.
Yeah.
So Metagross is one of my favorite Pokemon from 3rd generation.
Oh, that's right.
But you don't get Beldum until post game. Oh. So I was like, fuck, I want Beldum right off the bat. So I traded him to myself from from Ruby or Sapphire into Emerald, and I tried to play it, but it got to the point where once he evolved into Metang, he wouldn't obey me anymore. So like I
traded Pokemon get the boost.
Traded Pokemon get
leveled faster than what you can handle.
Yeah, and that's where I first experienced that problem. I'm like, boy, trading is almost kind of useless. Like the boosted experience is nice, but like if they stop obeying you, it's kind of dumb.
It can be.
Which makes sense. I understand why they did that system because it keeps someone like you trading me an Eternatus to go through the entire game.
Well, it also made sense because Ash's only good Pokemon was Charizard, and so instead of him just relying on Charizard all the time, Charizard never obeyed him, like, literally 75% of the time.
Yeah. Even though he caught him as a Charmander. Caught being the operative word.
Yeah, he didn't catch him.
No, he didn't catch anything.
Ash, worst trainer ever.
Yeah. But, I mean, we could go on about the wilds for a while. Let's move on to the raids. I like the raid idea. Thought it was a cool idea.
I like the concept, and I had no issues with them on the 1 to 3 star.
Yeah.
Even with the random NPC teams. The 5 stars...
4s to 5s get a little rough.
The 4 was a little rough, but 5 stars with the random NPCs, I don't understand how they're doable.
You have to get lucky. You just have to get the lucky dice roll of partners.
Yeah.
So, for the raids, it's essentially there's a Dynamax Pokemon in a den, and you fight it.
What's a Dynamax Pokemon?
It's the large version when they're
gotcha.
growing up. Because that's the
gotcha.
whole gimmick of the Galar region is there's certain spots in the world where these Pokemon hit this growth phenomenon where they become gigantic. Hence the Gigantamax idea.
Oh, okay.
Well, Dynamax is the big. Gigantamax is the unique versions.
Yeah. But so there's these dens where that energy is very powerful, so you end up fighting one of the Dynamax Pokemon. Mm-hmm. Well, it's you and 3 other trainers, and it's essentially like a 4-on-1.
Okay.
But the Dynamax Pokemon can, like, he's powerful. He can use
Basically
moves that hit everybody.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Well, yes and no. You can survive hits, but it's unlikely, and he'll get multiple turns. So it's in one turn he might attack 2 or 3 times.
Oh my god!
So it gets rough. But the biggest problem occurs when
there's no limit on what the NPCs use.
There are like
so they'll come in with Magikarp and Eevee,
a Magikarp with Hydro Cannon or Hydro Pump, or Eevee or Solrock or Delmise but that's the
thing.
And
the worst part is they'll come in with like shit that they're weak
against.
Yeah,
they're
so
weak to.
like I'll be fighting Butterfree, and then they'll come in with like grass Pokemon and shit like that.
Why would they have done that with the NPCs? Why would they do
There's
that?
like a pool of 8 different NPCs that it picks from. And
it's got to be more than 8 because I've seen.
It's not a lot.
But why would they program him to use a Pokemon like Magikarp? Like he's notoriously just pointless.
I think the idea is you're supposed to use real people. And this is it's a placeholder for...
It's a way of handicapping non-multiplayer people, which is stupid.
Gotcha.
Well,
so it encourages you to actually do multiplayer.
For the 4- and 5-star raids.
Which you have to pay for a Nintendo Online to do.
Oh, gotcha.
No, you don't. You can do it local.
Well, yeah, if you do local, but if you don't have, like, if I'm not over here hanging out with you, the only way to do it would be to go online, which means I have to buy the Nintendo Online.
Yeah. Which even in the wilds, to see other people, you can... Yeah.
So that's...
Those are features. I don't know if we'll necessarily go into it because I never did it. Like, you can do something called surprise trade in the wilds where you pretty much select a Pokemon to be traded, and it'll just... Somebody will agree to do it in the wilds if you're online, and you two just trade Pokemon. And that's it. Like, you don't know what you're going to get. They don't know what they're going to get, but it can happen.
Yeah.
It's kind of cool. Like, my brother got a whole shitload of, like, Japanese Pokemon and, like, Korean, and it's cool. Like,
and that's actually... I know there are, like, different effects for, like... I guess, like, normally with, like, the breeding and stuff, people use Ditto a lot because you can go with anything.
Right.
Well, I guess depending on like region or something like that, the Ditto has different effects on the Pokemon. So people are looking for different regions of Dittos all the time.
Yeah.
Oh, interesting.
My brother caught a Ditto yesterday.
I've never even seen one.
He's in one of the wilds. But they pump out eggs like crazy. It's literally 30 seconds. There's this little bike path. You hatch it. By the time you get back to the breeder, there's another egg sitting there. You do the path, hatch it. By the time you get back, there's another egg sitting. He hatched like 15 score bunnies.
Oh my god.
Because he's shiny hunting.
Oh.
But
actually, I just caught my first legit shiny.
Really?
Oh, you can get shinies in
Zigzagoon.
Oh, motherfucker.
You can get shinies in
It's like a 1 in 5,896 chance to get one.
God.
But based on how many you encounter, it gets cut in half.
Well, and then no. The number fought can go up to
$9.99.
Yes, but after 500, there's no point.
It goes down to 1 every 2,156.
Yeah, so 500 is like the hard cap for reducing the number.
Well, there's ways you can get it down to 1.
Well, and then there's
one out of 500.
There's items you can equip. There's the shiny tag and stuff like that. But
and if it's from an egg or if it's from this and that, there's a whole bunch of shit.
And it'll do a special animation too, so that
they're different colors.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
So
you've never seen a shiny?
No. Never.
It's just a color variant.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
That's all it really is. But like Ponyta, instead of the flame or the mane being red, it's blue. It actually looks pretty bad.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
That's cool. Yeah.
But anyway, what was I just talking about?
You're from
The raids.
The raids, yes. Okay, so the raids are fun. I like them. I've done a lot of them. They're a good way to get experience, candy things, and stuff like that. And I think Kevin's blowing around in proportion. It's not that bad.
Yes, it is.
He had a hard time, but it's not that bad.
So, with that being said, what did you not like about the game?
Oh, I'm still going on what I like.
There's
There's a lot I still like about this game.
God.
All of the Pokemon are amazing. All of the Pokemon are amazing. Like, I actually...
All of them. Every single one of them.
So normally he's black and white. That's his shiny form. And
Zigzagoon. Oh, he's black and white. Oh, and it's red and blue.
he's
basically.
like
Or
red and
Oh,
white.
that's cool.
So that's what he looks like.
Yeah.
So like I was just walking through and it was one of the random exclamation marks. And it popped up and he was a different color and I was like, wow, I'm gonna catch this motherfucker, even though I didn't want him.
I think they're guaranteed catches, too.
Are they?
Like, yeah, I think so.
I don't know why, but Zigzagoon just makes me think of Ace of Base.
Oh, wait.
Or no, not Ace of Base, Spice Girls.
Oh, wait. It'll make you think of something else.
Zigzag.
But I actually... This has been one of the first generations where I've loved every Pokemon's design. Even, like, stupid ones, I still kind of like. And it was... Their designs in this generation were actually pretty sweet, except for your dumbass hatred of Sirfetch'd for some fucking reason.
hate it. It's because it's a Pokemon that I did not like to begin with. Farfetch'd, I think, was a completely useless Pokemon. And then they made an evolution of that for a Pokemon that did not even need an evolution.
But see, that stemmed from, like, normal types being garbage in the original version.
Yeah.
Had normal types actually been viable back then, you probably wouldn't hate him as much.
Because he evolves to fighting.
That's true.
And fighting's a good type in this.
So
Yeah, well, fighting has always been a good type,
So
actually.
that Zigzagoon used to only have one evolution. He now
evolved
has
into
another
Lagoon.
one. Now he becomes Gene fucking Simmons.
Oh my god.
Yeah, he evolves
is
from-
a member of KISS.
Zigzagoon to Lanoon to Obstagoon.
Yeah.
Obstagoon?
Obstagoon.
Yeah.
Like he's obstinate.
Oh, well, he sounds like a goon.
Well, yes.
Yeah.
But, so yes, I love all the Pokemon designs. Like,
Yeah, I actually don't have any complaints with any of the new ones.
the typings, I absolutely love.
Actually, there is one I will say I do have them. Like it's a little. They're just because they're a little weird. Is the new fossils?
Surfetch, right?
The fossils are
Surfetch?
dumb.
Yeah, Surfetch is dumb. You're right.
You know,
No,
I will
the-
beat you with his.
So
lead.
normally in the Pokemon games, you have a fossil. You can choose from one of two.
Yeah.
This one, you get pieces of fossils.
Of two different fossils.
Well, there's four technically. The two you get and the two I get are different.
Yeah. Sorry.
And it creates an amalgam of a Pokemon.
Oh, interesting.
so its front half is different from his, which doesn't make sense because there's Pokedex entries for these Pokemon.
Right, there's Arctovish and Dracovish, and there's like
Zolt.
Electric Dragon, Grass Dragon, Water Dragon, something else Dragon.
Yeah.
It's really strange, but they look
interesting, yeah.
completely stupid. So
Oh.
I will
So
say,
like one of them is like basically a baby T-Rex front with like a full-grown T-Rex legs and tail.
Oh, that's weird.
It's stupid looking.
Yeah, that is stupid.
Yeah.
That's the one design in this entire generation I will say I'm not impressed with, and usually the fossils were some of the coolest looking Pokemon.
oh yeah, Caracosta, I absolutely loved.
I mean, even going back to the two Kabuto and Omnimite, and like they were cool.
Yeah, I love Kabutops.
Kabutops was awesome looking. Ammonite and Omastar was actually he was cool looking, but Ammonite I didn't really care for
Yeah.
all that much.
So the typings were my biggest impressive thing. Like, can you think of another bug psychic?
Wasn't Venomoth?
They use bug poison.
Oh. Well, he had like psychic attacks though.
Well,
didn't he?
a lot of the poison
so
Pokemon
technically,
did.
Ariados had learned psychic,
And I think
but he was
Butterfree was bug poison too, wasn't
Yeah.
he? Yeah.
So there was no. There's this one has a true bug psychic, and he's fucking awesome.
Ah.
Orbeetle is kick ass.
Yeah, he is.
But like the typings were actually very well branched out in this one. So they experimented with a lot of new typings, which I absolutely loved. Grass goes.
One of my favorite, Electric Poison.
Electric
Oh,
Poison was
interesting.
cool. Like it was some of like the variants, like the
Other-
Galar region variants of like Stunfisk,
Did you notice his first form has the diaper on?
Toxel. Yeah.
Yeah. He's a little like baby. He's got like a diaper, and then he evolves into this like big like
Punk rocker.
punk rocker looking thing.
Toxtricity.
Oh my god.
He's actually his form is pretty cool.
That's
But like Eternatus, the big bad guy, he's Poison Dragon. So it's like there's a lot of cool typings in this, which is cool because Dragon's weak to Fairy, but Fairy's weak to Poison. So it's like he kind of can stave off his own weakness. It was very well done. But like I love the typings. and stuff like that. Just the game in general, overall, is good.
Yeah.
It's honestly one of my favorites. It
Yeah, it would definitely be up there for me.
I would say it's probably my second favorite Pokemon game, next to Ruby and Sapphire. I want to say this one overtook all the others because of just in terms of scale and like the variations.
Yeah,
of
if
Pokemon.
we're talking like just gameplay wise and stuff like that, yeah, this would have to be into my top 2.
Yeah.
I will still X and Y still have some of my favorite Pokemon though. Cause
That's true.
Yveltal is still the best legendary of any of them.
That's true. Xerneas and Yveltal were probably the coolest legendaries out of any.
I don't care what anyone says.
No.
He is by far the coolest.
All right, so we touched a little bit on it, but let's go into a few gripes. You might not like this.
Why might I not like it?
Actually, this is one thing you will like. So, the story, unfortunately, is a bit sparse. It's definitely not to the scale that the older one, or that like the previous few.
It's back on par with like Red, Blue, and
where there really was no story to
gold,
speak
silver.
of, really.
This is where you'll like it because it's literally like
walk from point A to point B.
Badge,
fight.
badge, done. Little bit of story, done. Like, there's no, you get sidetracked into helping this and this, because there's, like, things will happen, and then the champion and, like, the professor will come up and be like, we'll take care of it. You got a challenge to do. Go.
They basically walk up and, like, you're a kid, fuck off, we will handle
adults
this.
will handle this.
So it's very linear.
Yes.
Okay.
In that sense, the game feels weirdly empty. The towns are very empty.
I've heard that, is that they say one of the big things that they were adding to this game is that every town you go to, you can go inside everything. Nothing is off limits.
That's
but it's
definitely not true.
But maybe
there's
it wasn't
a good
like
number of buildings you can go into compared to old ones.
But they're saying that you go into buildings and literally almost every building looks like identical, and a lot of them are just like straight up empty.
Yeah, there's like nothing to it.
Yeah,
there's no reason.
There's
to be
nothing. Yeah, there's nothing to be. Yeah, there's no reason to be in there. It's like, why open it if there's really nothing to do?
Yeah, like the storyline is it's this Gigantamax or this Dynamax phenomenon, and spoilers. I don't know if you really care too much about the story, unless you want me not to spoil it.
Probably not. I don't care. I'll eventually, like I said, I'll eventually play it, but I don't. I don't.
Yeah,
care about
spoilers for anybody who wants to.
There's been spoilers already.
Yeah, that's true, I guess.
And I'm
so
sorry,
the game.
At this point, we'll just put a spoiler tag at the very beginning.
The game is very heavy-handed with the pushing the thing of climate change.
Oh, really?
Very heavy-handed.
Yeah.
Very heavy.
It's easy. To be honest, it's easy to ignore, though.
It is.
Good,
it is.
Good.
But the whole idea is this chairman of the Galar region. He runs the Pokemon League and this power plant thing. He's seeing 1,000 years into the future that pretty much life's going to be wiped out in the Galar region because there's going to be no power. There's going to be there's nothing. So he wants to bring about something called the Darkest Day, which he's collecting all these wishing stones that give you the Dynamax power, and he's feeding them to this Eternatus because he's the one that generates this electricity that everyone uses.
Oh, okay.
So, and keep in mind, this is all within the last, 30 minutes of the game that you learn all this shit.
Oh, that's where
I didn't say he would actually, they didn't have, if you actually listen to the way Rose talks about it, he didn't have Eternatus during the entire thing. They were summoning him during a ritual, and he went on a hand.
He was in the basement of the power plant, because he was in that egg.
No, he was using the egg to summon him, and using the stars to do it.
Oh, maybe. Mm-hmm. The way I read it is they were feeding him the stars.
No, but that's part of the ritual, is getting all the stars and feeding him the energy.
I still find
he
it
wasn't
funny.
actually there because the way he talks about it.
I still find it funny that literally the last half hour of the game is like,
that's all your story.
We're gonna hit you with the story now.
Pretty much, because and that's where I was talking about this with you. Is
that's not, you get bits and pieces of the legend of the Darkest Days.
But nothing is nothing is just like, oh, that's what that means. No, nothing. There's no revelation of any sort. It's like you complete a gym, you walk outside, the professor's assistant says, "Hey, come with me. Let's look at this thing." All right, bye.
And
that's
the reason I like it. It's better because Pokemon for a while got stuck on the whole. You're a 10-year-old, 15-year-old, whatever.
Yeah.
going on an adventure, guess what? It's your responsibility to save the world.
Yeah.
Except for in this one, they're basically like, no, you're a child. Go have fun. The adults will do this.
Yeah, that's funny.
But it's... Oh, sorry.
Oh, no, I was just going to say, like, I think that's, like, completely the opposite of what I loved about X and Y and that generation, is that even though X and Y had, like, periods of downtime that were sometimes, like, it just dragged on and on and on, it interspersed enough story that it kept me interested throughout the duration. And so it sounds like it's like, okay, if they don't want to have a story, but it's so linear that it's like there's nothing to distract you.
Linear.
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 It's linear.
There you go. Yes.
It's linear so that you don't, like, you're not getting bored.
Right.
You're just going from point A to point B to point C to point D, and then it's like it reminds me of that quote from John Carmack, who was the lead designer in, like, the Doom series and for ID Software, and he said, because they asked him about, like, a story, like they wanted to have a story in, like, for Doom, and he's like, a story in this game is like a story in a porno. It's expected, but it doesn't need to be good, or it doesn't need to be there.
No, but I remember that was your biggest gripe, was there was periods in, like, X and Y or whatever where it's like
You literally
just a drought of few hours.
You literally were searching around for like 2 or 3 hours. I remember there was like a period of like 5 hours where I was between like the 3rd and 4th gym, and there was nothing. It was just going from region to region. It's like, oh, see this area, see this area. It's like, I don't want to. I just want to get to the
Fight
damn...
some pussy trainers.
Yeah.
Here's this. I just want to get a badge.
I just want to go to the badge.
Like an apt like comparison would be, this is the Dragon Warrior compared to like the Final Fantasy.
Oh,
I would say so.
Where it's
very.
It's okay. We talked to this NPC.
Yeah.
Just go to your next destination and finish what you have to do.
It's basically the Final Fantasy Mystic Quest.
Yes.
Of the series.
That's a good way of putting it.
Where it's basically the elementary, like, entry level RPG, where it's, you think you're playing an RPG, but it's nothing like an RPG. It's literally like, nope, you got to go here. Once you go there, it's like, oh, hey, you made it. Well, go here now, and it's like it'll hold your hand as you're going from
kind of
place
except
to place.
for they're not as obnoxious with the hand holding in this one, because all the tutorials you can turn them down.
Yeah,
that's
you
cool.
don't have to do them.
Oh, that's cool.
Or just if you do something out of instinct, like catch your first Pokemon. The guy who comes up to teach you how to catch Pokemon will be like, oh, I see you already caught some. Well, you don't need me then.
Yeah.
He just fucks off.
Like, you're given 5 Pokeballs from your mom. I caught 5 different Pokemon before I ever got to him, and he was just like, see ya.
Which I'm
okay.
glad that Nintendo did that, because how many gripes do people have about that? Where it's
That's
like,
actually one of my biggest gripes was that
I
X and Y
literally
black and
played
white.
Pokemon since the first generation. Why are you still teaching me how to catch a Pokemon? I know how to do it now.
Yeah.
And so now they make it. They make
And then,
it.
like, even when you fight your rival for like the first time, and if you hit him with like a move he's weak to, like they make comments about you using stuff that's super effective against them, so you already know about this stuff.
It was a good touch, and I did like that. But it's back to the emptiness of it. It's like there were towns. Like one of the towns you get to is called Spikemuth. It's one of the dark gym leader. I was on my way there, and I'm like, cool, it's a town, there'll be, like, a new boutique to find some more, like, customization options for my character. I'm a sucker for that kind of shit.
I know you are.
As anybody's seen in the Soul Sacrifice episode, I love to customize my character.
I understand. Yeah, it drives me nuts.
So you get to Spikemuth, it's literally just the gym. That's it. The whole town is just the gym and, like, the Pokemon Center. So it's like there's these areas where it's like there's just nothing. So it's kind of like the whole world, in the same sense, feels full, but at the same sense feels empty. Well, it was like Breath of the Wild.
It's funny because it's one of those things where going through those sections, it doesn't feel empty. Looking back at those sections, it feels empty.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Because so when you were there at first,
it's enough that like, when you're going through it the first time, you're like, cool, new area. This is not gonna be. We're going through this, and then it's just like afterwards, after you get to an area that has more stuff, you're like,
oh, wow,
wait, we just finished that other area.
Yeah.
I literally walked in a straight line, fought 6 trainers, then fought the gym leader, and then we were done.
Yeah, now they're like, all right, time to go to the next one.
Although I did like his gym because he's the only one who doesn't Dynamax.
That's true. The Dark Gym Leader has no power spot in his gym, so he refuses to Dynamax, and he's trying to prove a point that you don't have to Dynamax to beat people.
Oh.
Which he loses anyway. So
of course he does.
Nice way of proving your point.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
But it was... Looking back on it, even like the Wildlands, like... was really overwhelming the first time because there's so much to catch. But now you look back on it, you're like, there's really not a whole lot there.
Well, and it's funny because, like, there is a whole lot when you first get there, but then as soon as you get, like, the bike upgrade, that you can go on water and stuff, and it kind of opens up slightly more areas as you're going. It's kind of nice. The way HMs used to.
Yeah, they did away with the HMs.
Oh,
so now
okay.
everything's done by the... Well, you really... Like, there's nothing to rock smash. There's nothing to surf. Yeah, there's nothing to cut.
I'm okay with that. I thought that the HMs just, like, they kind of got in the way of everything.
Well, and the big problem was they were moves in the first, like, the early games.
That's what the big issue was, is that they took up a space. And it wasn't even just the fact that it took up a space, but it was something that you couldn't even... You couldn't get rid of. Once you had it, then you were stuck with it.
It wasn't, I think, until Gen 3 or 4 when you could finally get rid of HMs.
Yeah.
And Gen 3 was the worst because you had more... There were 8 HMs.
Yeah, because it was cut, fly, surf, strength, dive.
That was Ruby and Sapphire, right?
Yes.
Yeah, because that was
Waterfall
one where
and one more, I think. But
that was literally...
Probably.
I've made it through that entire game only having like 5 Pokemon, and it's because 4 of them were ended up being my HM Pokemon.
I didn't want
to give them to Blaziken.
I always tried to find the one Pokemon I could dump as many onto as possible.
Exactly. The HM Whore, I call it.
Yeah, the HM
That's literally what I would nickname him too. HM Whore. But honestly, I think that's my... Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh, no. I was going to say, as far as gripes go, because this was another thing that I had heard a lot of, and it doesn't sound like either one of you had an issue with it, but I had heard that there was issues with saving your progress where files would easily get corrupted.
It was something... Well,
there's like a programming issue that, like, some kind of bug. Yeah.
One... The community is fairly certain that the people that were having this issue were using hacked copies of the game.
Oh, gotcha.
So it wasn't writing properly. The other people that said they were having issues with it were with the autosave feature. Well, I just turned the autosave feature off and I've not had a single issue.
Yeah, you just save it. Yeah,
just manually save. You can save anywhere anyways. So.
I'm used to manually saving on Pokemon anyways.
You could literally save anywhere in the world, so what's the point?
Yeah.
So, like, those were the only 2 issues I heard of people having issues with the save data.
Oh, okay.
And my guess is that the majority of them were hacked or illegal copies anyways.
Which then you get what you deserve.
Or they were on modified hardware, which means, fuck you anyways. So.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But yeah, there's... Okay. Honestly, I think those are my biggest issues with the game, is just the fact that it's relatively empty, and, like... Well, actually, I should talk about the Elite Four, because we said we were going to go over.
That's where my like, biggest complaint, I think, is.
So there's no Elite Four anymore.
Okay.
It's essentially, you have a region champion, Leon, who's your rival's brother.
Leon Kennedy?
Yeah.
Super douche. I call him Super douche. He is a douche. But so there's that. And then before you,
to be honest, he's not really a douche, but he's hamming up his thing because he is the champion of the region.
Oh, so he's a
sports
braggart.
star.
He's a braggart.
Yeah.
Well, it's like it's a sport. Yeah,
that's the whole thing. Is like he's basically the soccer superstar for the region.
Oh, that's
so where they have to kind of play up the thing of what they do and who they are.
The champion.
It's kind of their whole thing.
It's a pissing contest.
Yeah.
So like the whole gym challenge is somebody has to endorse you.
Okay.
And you do these gyms, you go there, you go through some semifinals, you go through the finals where all of the gym leaders themselves are competing against you for a shot at the champion. So it's a bracket system.
I don't have a problem with that. In fact, that's a lot more like the Pokemon animated series.
Yeah.
I kind of like that idea.
I liked the idea a lot.
See, that's where I already kicked their asses once. I've already proved I can beat these people. Why not just give me different trainers? This is where...
They were personally much more beefed up, though, in the finals.
Personally, this is where I think the game should have switched. The 2 gyms I didn't get to fight should have been the ones I fought in the finals.
That would have been cool. That would have been
so
a cool
that way
idea.
I would have been able to fight every gym leader.
And you wouldn't have expected it.
Exactly. And that's the way they should have handled it.
Even though, like, when you fight these gym leaders in the finals, they use different Pokemon, and they're much more powerful.
Yeah,
like,
sure.
They're like
huge.
20 levels higher than what they were.
Oh, they're in their, like, 50s or 60s, I think.
50s at the end.
I think they're in the 50s.
Leon's 60.
Leon's in his 60s, his low 60s. But, super cool idea. Loved it. It was not random. So it's a bracket system, but the people you fight are predetermined. I feel, to me, I was extremely disappointed, and I feel like this was the biggest letdown for me of this game, is the fact that you fought the water leader, you fought the gym exclusive leader of your game, and then you fought Raihan, the dragon. Surprise to fucking prize, the dragon trainer is your last gym to fight, and he's the last guy before it.
It's Lance.
Yeah.
Honestly, they always are.
Yeah.
I feel like Dragon is always the final gym because Dragon's the quote-unquote most powerful.
I'm sorry, it's the Goro of Pokemon.
Pretty much.
It's always the Shokan before the final boss.
So I feel like that honestly was a huge missed opportunity.
Yeah.
If the Elite Four had been random, that would have been baller.
Yeah, so I like the idea that you said it was the bracket series, but the second you said it's always predetermined, it's always going to be the same people in that bracket, then then take out the bracket.
And the only reason I know that is because I was like, cool, I'm fighting Nessa, the water trainer, and then I fought Alistair, the ghost one, and then I fought Raihan, the dragon.
Yeah.
I was like, I texted Kevin, I think, and my younger brother, I said, who did you guys fight
Wait a
by
minute.
chance?
You said water, ghost, and dragon?
Oh, you fight the fairy one before those three. There's a guy who
But still, water, dragon, or water, ghost, and dragon. It's literally the Elite Four.
Yeah, it is. But there's one even before the water one, because there's this guy who got kicked out of the gym challenge called Bede.
Yeah.
BEDE. He essentially takes over the fairy gym for this old bitch, and he's the first guy you fight.
The funny thing is, like, during the game, he was annoying, but actually looking back on the story, I have sympathy for him.
I felt bad for him.
Because he was being used by the chairman to do stuff, and then as soon as he basically got caught doing this stuff for the chairman disowned him.
No, of course he did. Yeah.
So it was one of those things where it's like, okay, yeah, you're an annoying character, and then afterwards I'm like, shit, he really just got shit on the entire game, didn't he?
He got the shaft.
So it's like, once I found out that everybody fought the same Elite Four, I was like, missed opportunity. That I feel like
I said,
should have been a degree of
I should have
randomization.
had to fight the gyms I didn't fight.
Yeah.
That would have been cool with me, and I would have been okay with it, but to be honest, they were doing the whole Capcom, Mega Man thing. Okay, you already fought these bosses, just fight them again. Just to pad stuff out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it was still good. They were not difficult, but they were still pretty tense fights for the most part. But again, and I've said this through every generation, I hate when they theme gyms. So, like, the big bad guy before Eternus, this Chairman Rose who awakens him, has all steel Pokemon.
Yeah, I kicked his ass.
I whooped his ass. I had Colossal. He's a steel rock. Or he's fire rock.
Yeah, fire.
I just roasted him.
Yeah, roasted
I was like, you're really, like...
Cinderace just pyro-balled him.
Yeah, I was like, this is supposed to be, like... And the music was super dramatic. He was very brooding, it was a dark fight. And, like, that was it. Like, I was like, come on, man.
Actually, I do have one other major complaint with the game now that I think about it.
Oh, my God.
No, it's actually one you talked about, too, prior.
Probably.
So, it is very, very jarring, especially at this point in consoles and how powerful they are, where there are these big dramatic scenes where, like, Rose is talking to everyone in the arena. No voice acting.
Yeah, there's... Tim and I talked about this, too.
And then there was at the top of the tower where Leon and Rose are talking, and it's just a bunch of still images. And, like, that entire scene, there was no music.
There was nothing. It was like...
And it was just you reading... Like, if they would have had voice acting during, like, these certain like, the cinematic segments, it would have been awesome. But it was a very missed opportunity.
Has there ever been voice...
Other than the Pokemon themselves, no.
Oh, okay.
And even Tim and I talked about this, and Tim very rarely agrees with what I say on things because Tim is very non... Is it partial or non-partial? I don't remember what it is. He's very forgiving.
flexible.
He can see both sides of the
flexible.
situation. Even he was like... honestly,
impartial.
There we go. He's like, there should have been voice acting at this point because, like even the big opening scene when they show the stadium and Chairman Rose going on about Pokemon, it's like, and it's just voice dialogue. It's like, come on, man. Like, even in this few cinematics there should have been voice acting.
There was like 4 or 5 times throughout the game where if they would have had spoken dialogue, it would have been awesome. It would have made the moment more dramatic. It would have given some stuff to it, because like I said, there was the one where there was like no music when it was in there, so it was just it was dead, and I'm just reading text.
Yeah. But that's a good point. I completely forgot about that because I was talking.
I just remembered the top of the tower scene where it was the still images, and I'm like, that's right. There was nothing there, and it would have just... It was something where... Because he's talking about the future of the region and how...
He had to do this.
Like, he has to do this, and he wants Leon on board with him to do this stuff. And Leon's like, well, we can delay it a day, can't we? And the dude's like, no! We gotta do this!
We have to do it now! And it's so...
We have to do it now to save 1,000 years. But dude,
do it now! Do it now! Get down! But it was very odd. The fact there were no dungeons was very weird too to me.
Oh, this would mark the first one where there's no dungeons.
Well, like, even in the original there was like Silphco and
of course,
like the underside of the casino and stuff like that. There's nothing. There are no dungeons in this entire game.
Wow.
So it was
and like the 2 caves you go through are literally a path.
Yeah.
So straightforward.
Which is what I was saying, like the game feels empty. There's like I said, without story, I'm like, all right, cool, there's going to be dungeons of some sort. Like when you first get to the power plant, I was like, cool, instead, like before you fight the gym, they're going to reroute you to the power plant to solve something, and then you're going to nope, they're literally just move on. Yep, there's a power plant, but you're not coming in. And you literally don't go to it till the end of the game. And it's literally one room.
There was the one moment where I thought something was about to happen. Like you're going through, I can't remember the name of the city, but I think it's the one with the power plant. And all of a sudden you just hear, through the rumble.
Yeah.
And they're like, what the hell's that? And you go to another area and they're like, rumble. And then they're like, just ignore it. You go around and all of a sudden you're coming out of like the one cave and all of a sudden there's like the rumbling, and all of a sudden Leon's like, don't worry about it, I'll handle this.
And he takes care of it.
And then it shows like a newspaper clipping of like him fighting all these Gigantamax Pokemon and stuff, and you're like, I could have helped.
Yeah, it's bizarre. It's bizarre. But overall, I'd say the experience is definitely worth it. Gripes aside, I can see their intentions behind it.
Yeah.
And again, this is their first leap to a console, so I think they were kind of still testing their sticking their toe in the water.
I was just about to say that. It's like
actually I can
foot in the water.
You can sort of see that with like some moves. So like Cinderace and his or Score Bunny, whatever, and his entire line is a great example. His version of tackle, instead of just being like, oh, I just shoulder charge, the animation's done, he kind of runs up and does like a soccer kick.
Because he's a soccer player.
But then, I'm like, okay, cool. So and then I'll do a move like, oh, I got double kick, so let's use this. The animation for double kick, he literally just goes up, up, and that's it.
Yeah.
So some moves have these amazing animations, and then other moves
they just cheaped out on.
And other moves like tail wag. Yeah. They just pick up the Pokemon, shake it back and forth, and put them back down.
Like Inteleon's special move, Snipe Shot. It's this big dramatic thing. His eyes change color. He points a finger and he shoots like a gun and
like
shoots a sniper shot right through the guy. Cool as shit. But then there's moves like Water Gun where he just goes and he wiggles his finger at him and that's it. I was like, come on.
I literally feel like maybe there was multiple designers and there's one who's like, I gotta make these as good as possible. And
then there's another
signature moves. And then there's another designer who's just like, yeah, that's good enough.
I mean, I get the idea because you need these moves to blanket multiple Pokemon, so it's kind of hard to have somebody who maybe doesn't have a finger to shoot a gun. You know what I mean? So it makes sense in that context.
Yeah, but like then I think they should basically divide it into like little things and be like, okay, well the bipedal ones will use their finger, whereas like the quadrupeds they'll just have the mouth shot.
Shoot it out of the mouth. Yeah.
And they should have had like 2 maybe designs per move or something like that, because obviously it wouldn't take up all that much room.
No.
And they could have done it that way to solve some of the animation stuff.
Yeah. There was a lot of
it's tiny things like that.
Tiny things. Yeah. But it still overall was an amazing experience.
Big picture sounds like the game was definitely
better
received.
And like Gigantamax, like Dynamax and Gigantamaxing. I'm still not a huge fan of it, but it's better than
the Mega
Evolutions, and it's better than Z moves.
Yes.
Because those were just dumb.
Stupid. The Z moves were dumb.
Although I will say this, I wish trainers using Dynamaxing would have been more random.
Yeah.
The big weird thing. The weird thing with it is like basically you're fighting a gym trainer, and they get to their very last Pokemon. That's when they'll use it.
Oh, so you just wait till the very end to Dynamax your own Pokemon.
Yeah. So it's one of those things where it's like basically it's a set time when everyone uses it. It would have been kind of cooler if it was random.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mm-hmm. But even like the Dynamaxing, to be honest, and we had talked about this, it's like, yes, they're more powerful, kind of similar to the Mega Evolutions, but they're still feasible to fight. Mm-hmm. It's not like you're just getting one-shotted every time they Dynamax.
The other thing is, like, Dynamaxing has its own level system.
Yeah.
So you can use candies to level up your Dynamaxing for your forms, which gives them more life and stuff like that when they Dynamax.
Oh, okay.
So it was a good idea. Yeah. So there are some Pokemon I actually fought Dynamax that I didn't even bother. Mm-hmm. I still just fought it outright, and it was feasible to fight. You can survive a move from them.
I actually had one fight, and I don't remember who it was against, where my Dynamax wore off, and they still had one more turn as Dynamax.
Yeah, that happened to me too, because it lasts 3 turns. So
I think it was Alchemy that did it.
That could be.
Because fire's just normal on it, I think.
Yeah.
So I think I ended up using, like, my fire move, and then I turned back to normal. I'm like, well, this is... And then I lived. I'm like, oh, okay, we're fine. We're good.
Yeah. So it's... Honestly, the Dynamaxing, I thought it was going to be like Mega Evolutions and be super broken and stupid, and unless you Dynamax, you were never going to survive it. No. It's... You can survive the fights.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So, and I like that. That it's still relatively balanced, but you do feel that surge of power when you do it.
Yeah.
So, like I said, the game was phenomenal. I think everybody, even if you're just jumping into the series, this is a good platform to do it.
Yeah.
Because it's still complex enough to keep you interested for longtime players like us, but it's still
simple enough to draw in new people if they haven't really gotten, or if they haven't played the Pokemon series in a long time.
Yes, and absolutely. This one would definitely be a good jumping off platform.
Okay, yeah.
So, anything else to add?
Not that I can think of.
Yeah, I can't think of anything.
I mean, we'll say more too, because we're eventually gonna go head to head and battle. Mm-hmm. We'll see how well that performs.
I would like to record a session of you and I, and with you here, obviously watching, where we fight against each other.
Yeah, I think that'd be fun to try.
Because you can do it to where it's a flat 50, or you can do like at your level.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
I do have one final thought.
What's that?
On Pokemon. It's not something that I'm trying to think of how to say this.
That is gonna be terrible.
Surfetched is stupid.
Was that the thought?
That was it.
You're a dick.
I hate you, Paul.
So, obviously, Pokemon Sword and Shield are out now. I highly recommend this holiday. Go pick it up.
Pick up Sword, don't play Shield.
I love Shield. Zamazameta, or whatever the fuck his name is, was better than Zacian.
No.
But
I like dog with sword in mouth.
Even them, like, you really didn't even...
You see them once at the beginning of the game, once battling...
And then that's it.
the major villain, and that's it. Yeah, the legendary...
You don't even catch them in the game.
The legendary, well, because they're not like...
they're not like
the three dogs. And they're not like the 3 dogs where they were actively part of the story or anything like that.
That was kind of weird, though, because it's the first Pokemon I can think of where, like, you don't catch them throughout the course of the story. Like, Yveltal and Xerneas, you caught them in the story. Like, these two literally had... They were there for the story, but then they fucked off. You caught Solgaleo and you caught Lunalis.
Yeah.
Or Lunala. Yeah, like, you caught all of them.
Even in the original, you caught the birds at least. It wasn't until post-game you got Mewtwo.
Right.
So,
but that one, I feel like, that was kind of the outlier.
Yeah.
Well, even Ho-Oh and Lugia were not story-related. It wasn't really story-related catches until Ruby Sapphire, when you had to fight Groudon and Kyogre. But this one, like, they're... Usually the flagship Pokemon of that game is catchable within the story. This one was Eternatus, like almost the topper.
Yeah.
It was the catchable one, and you don't catch your signature one or the flagship until the end, like post game. So it was very odd.
Still have to catch mine.
They give you a Master Ball, so I'm just gonna go throw the ball at it. Actually, I've considered even just deleting my data and starting all over.
Catch him and transfer him to me.
Yeah, I'll do that. Because I want to play the game again, but with a different team. Like, this game was that good that I kind of still want to play it, even though I've done the post game.
Actually, there is one more thought. It was really, really hard not to default back to Pokemon I love that were in this game. It was so hard not to use Bisharp and Noivern and a couple other Pokemon. because I know I can get Como in Sword.
Yep.
So I was like, it's so hard not to default back and using these Pokemon I know and love.
Yeah, it's a ritual for probably you too. Where every generation, I use only Pokemon from that generation my first time through.
Oh, okay.
I do not want to use Pokemon from previous gens because it's kind of not the point.
Yeah.
Like you've seen them already; they've had their time.
Oh,
Like,
sure.
I did all of them except for one because I could not find a sixth.
Yeah,
so
I
I
got
used
6.
Serena from Gen 7. But that was it. So go pick it up this holiday. It's a phenomenal game. It's great.
And if you pick it up before January 20th, I think it is, you can get the Gigantamax Meowth for free out of the gift system.
Yeah, there's a whole bunch of little bonuses here and there you can get, and it's a great time. Paul, I know you're gonna love it, even though you were so against it.
No, I am definitely going to get it, and I'm definitely going to play it. And honestly, the way that you talk about it too, being as linear as it is, I honestly think that's honestly the kind of game like for me.
Yeah.
Like I like when it's literally just straightforward A to B to C to D. Like I don't really care so much for like the side quests and the
fluff.
The fluff, or even just like the sandbox where it's like, oh well, you know what, this is the story, but you could do everything. It's like I don't want to be overwhelmed by doing everything. I want to just tell me where to go and I'll get there.
Yeah,
and it's and I love that.
This one definitely has that element.
Yeah. It'll make you it'll be like, oh, this is basically playing Red and Blue again.
Yeah,
which is
and
prettier.
and I like that.
Honestly, this game has made me want to rebuy Black or White or Diamond and Pearl and replay those because I never finished Black and White. I got so far, I maybe got to the 6th badge, and I was like, I'm done. Like I can't do this anymore. But this game has almost reaffirmed my love for the series, and I want to go back and finish Black and White or Black 2 and White 2 or whatever. You know, even give Platinum another shot. Like I think I would love to do that.
Yeah.
So there you guys go. That's our. Well, it was supposed to be a quickie.
It really wasn't a quickie though.
Nope. So hit us up on Facebook.
Hit us up on Twitter.
Go to PowerTripGaming.tv. Takes you directly to the channel where you can watch us play through the NES collection, as well as many other side quests.
Yep, you can watch our side quests, or you can catch our episodes of the PTGPowercast, where we talk about everything. We talk about video games. We talk about other things. We talk about Pokemon.
For 3 episodes now.
Yeah. But either way, check it out.
Absolutely. So that'll do it for this one.
It will.
The PTG Powercast.
Now you've been listening with Power!